Welcome to Tucker Carlson Today. In the spring of 1994, 29 years ago, and one of the worst atrocities in the modern era, armed Hutu militias in the African nation of Rwanda began a campaign of genocide in their country. They targeted the Tutsi minority ethnic group along with others. In just 3 months, over 500,000 Tutsis were murdered. We're about to speak to a survivor of that genocide in just a moment. But first, for those for whom the Rwandan genocide is a hazy memory, here's a quick summary of what happened.
A political assassination triggered one of the biggest mass killings in history, the Rwandan genocide. On April 7, 1994, a government-backed campaign of mass killings started in Rwanda. The aim was the ethnic cleansing of an empowered minority group. Hutu extremists massacred hundreds of thousands of ethnic Tutsis and their Hutu sympathizers. Within a span of 100 days, at least 800,000 people were killed in the most rapid genocide ever recorded. During this period, 6 people were murdered every minute. Dead bodies were piled up on roadsides as people were encouraged to kill their neighbors, women were raped, and even the lives of children were not spared. The killing spread to all corners of the country and the violence unfolded before the eyes of the international media. Rwandans were left alone by the international community to face this dark chapter in their history.
Immaculée Ilibagiza is one of the few who survived that genocide. It is a remarkable story, and some of it is on tape. So here is a rough overview of what she lived through almost 30 years ago. Watch.
The regime in Rwanda that was responsible for the genocide was a criminal regime. It operated according to the logic of criminal gangs.
My father said, "We miss you, and you have been away so much, away from us." So I went home.
And it mobilized Hutu gangs known as the Interahamwe militias by stoking their fear of Tutsis based on a history of Tutsi domination and exploitation going back to the Belgian colonial era.
Easter vacation that year changed everything in my life. The president's plane was shut down and the genocide began.
The two leaders died after attending peace talks aimed at ending decades of tribal conflict in the two countries. President Habyarimana of Rwanda and President Ntaryamira of Burundi were killed when their plane came down near the Rwandan capital, Kigali. Both were members of the majority Hutu tribe.
Before, it was always kind of far away, and it's like it just spread everywhere.
It was a very well-organized program of genocide. It had been established before the plane went down, and it was just waiting for this event or an event like it to click into motion.
These people had lists. They had lists of people that had to be killed, and then it became crazy.
And I remember my father telling me, "We are worried that you might get raped, and we are worried that we can't help you." I was very angry. During the bathroom time, I couldn't understand how another human being can cause you so much pain. Why? We were all created. We never chose to be who we become. We don't choose our race. We don't choose our tribe. We don't even choose a country where we are born. I hid in this tiny bathroom for 91 days, and they never found me. But I found myself.
One of the most shocking parts of the Rwandan genocide is where it happened. Rwanda was long one of the most peaceful, orderly countries in Africa. It once again is that. And yet all of a sudden, out of nowhere, mass genocide broke out. The same is true, by the way, in Liberia. So what are the lessons for the world from that? What are the spiritual lessons from it? Well, we are blessed today to be joined by someone who survived it, as we told you. Immaculée Ilibagiza joins us in studio. Immaculée, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Can you describe your childhood in Rwanda? What was the country like before this happened?
You know, in my childhood was really just simple and good. I grew up in a family of 4 children and a mom and dad. And our parents were teachers, my parents, so they taught us to love neighbors, to be a good person.
Yes.
We grew up Catholics, Christians,
yes.
So we went to Mass every Sunday, If you say some bad word, your parents punished you. The neighbors were really good to us. I remember when I used to fall asleep in neighbors' home and they would just pick me up and take me home. So I never saw a crime where I grew up. We knew there were problems between tribes. The politicians were in power. They did not treat well people of our tribe, but my parents did not even allow us to talk about that. My dad always insisted, be a good person and judge people as they act to you individually.
Yes.
Not put people in boxes because they're that tribe, from that state, that area. Just like judge people individually as they come to you and work hard. So that's what we did.
So it sounds like your father was a Christian, a sincere Christian.
He really was a sincere Christian, very loved by the neighbors. We never thought what happened can really happen to us. And to this day in my neighborhood, when I go back, they have a church they named after my father, even if there's no many people for our tribe living anymore because they killed many. So he was loved, and it's now that people keep talking about how he cared so much about the village.
So it sounds like, I mean, from the outside world's perspective, Rwanda was not a country that people thought was particularly volatile. It's a peaceful country, a very Christian country.
Very Christian country. Our values as a country, the way we treat each other, neighbors, was really based on Bible principles. So it was, what happened was really came from the propaganda of the politicians, of the leadership. They had to make people hate each other to make that happen. I remember about 8 months before the genocide started, there was a radio that was supposed to be private radio called Erterem.
Yes.
So this radio, the journalists, they used to act like they were drunk. And then they would say things like, one day we are going to kill people of that tribe, Tutsis. We will kill them and make them go through the water and go where they come from. And I'm like, why is the government not doing something to stop this? What is going on? So they had to make jokes about us, that we are not human beings, we have horns. And our friends started to look at us like people were just making jokes about. But why they did not do anything about it? So you knew something was in preparation.
So the media was stoking tribal hate, ethnic hate.
Yes, they were really making it in a way that people start to look at each other different. Otherwise, naturally, we loved each other. To this day, one of my best friends is from the Hutu tribe.
Yes.
The tribe. And we talk about that, and she remembers what was going on. It's like, this is so sad for what happened.
So people believed the media.
They believed the media, and not everyone, not every Hutu, but at least because the whole politicians, I guess, who took over who had the country at that time, they were on the same voice of hating people of our tribe, and the whole media had the same voice. So there was no media that was speaking on our behalf. And we saw things getting worse, and you just wondered, what is going to happen? I still remember before the genocide, actually kind of looking at what was coming. They're going to kill us. With what they're talking, and no one is stopping something, they're going to kill us. And I don't remember why, but I still remember thinking, what am I going to do when everyone is killed? And then I can beat myself like, no, I'm going to die with everybody. I shouldn't think.
So you thought that to yourself?
Really thought that. I can see one home by one home, because they were insulting people for a tribe. So in Rwanda, we had two main tribes, Hutu and Tutsis. So the people who were on the power were from the tribe of Hutu, but 99.99. But the people among Tutsi and Hutus, we really, again, were neighbors. We did good to each other. My dad, as a teacher, he had kids from the Hutu tribe he was paying school for. He was teaching evening. I remember when we came home, every evening my dad had to go to home by home just to find out if everything was okay. If there was somebody sick, he gathered other men to take them to the hospital. So it was really a good neighborhood. It was all trashed by the government, I think, yeah.
Did your parents know what was happening?
They knew, but it's like you didn't know what to do about that. And again, they did not even allow us to entertain too much talks about that. I remember telling my dad, my teacher is not good, he doesn't like me because I'm a Tutsi. And my dad said, well, then you have to work harder in school. Do not pay attention. Bad people exist all over. And if somebody's mean to you, you just have to work hard and do your part. So he was always making us be responsible for my action. You can't remove bad people in the world. They will be. Do your part.
You're making the hair on my arms go up because that's exactly what I would say to my children if they came home and said that to me. It's exactly the response I would give. Oh. When did things start to fall apart?
So we saw it coming slowly. I still remember like a week before the genocide, a friend of mine asked me, what do you think is going to happen? And I said, I feel like the rain is falling. It's literally like in the air. It's about to just fall down. But because again, the tension, and through the media, not between people, through the media, that's why we're feeling it. Something's in preparation. What is going on? So how it fell apart, I remember I was home for Easter holiday. One morning on Wednesday, it was my brother who woke me up, 6 in the morning. He never before came to my room. I was one girl among 3 boys.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Oof.
Yeah, so I just came home for Easter holiday. Even that, when I think about it, I remember my father, that time we didn't have phones. Especially in our country, in our village, we didn't have TV, we didn't have phone, we only had radio.
Yes.
So my dad and my mom, they sent me a letter signed by both of them asking me to come on vacation, when I'm going to come home. So I told them, I have an exam when I just come back, so I would like to stay in school. And they wrote back and said, no, you have to come. Even if we see you 1 week, is enough. So we need you, we miss you, you are our child. So I went home for Easter holiday. I got there Friday. We went on Easter on Sunday. It was just fun. Every evening we had time to talk to each other. Like I said, we didn't have TV or anything, so it was always entertaining each other. So on Wednesday in morning, my brother came to my room, pushed the door. He had on a jacket, a stick in his hand, and what went through my mind was, what happened when I was sleeping? So he woke me up, and he told me, you are still sleeping, you don't know what happened. The president was killed last night. So I jumped out of the bed, and I told him, which still seemed like yesterday, I said, they're going to kill us. He's like, why? What have we done? I'm like, don't you see that radio, what they have been saying for the past 8 years? This is maybe where they were going. And truly people believe that his own people killed him so that they can have an excuse to eliminate this whole tribe. Somehow they just wanted to eliminate. And they were talking about this for many times, many times on that radio, that we will kill them. They're like, you can't kill somebody. I've never seen anyone killing somebody. So how can you wake up and start killing somebody? So it had really just started.
So you had never, up until that day when the president's plane went down, you'd never seen anyone killed?
I never seen anyone killed. I never lost anyone in my family. So I was in a funeral for other people, but never. I still remember one of my worst fears was always to ask myself, who will die first in my family? If mom dies, we will all die. Who is going to organize the family? If my dad dies, oh no, we will die. Who is going to support the family? Who will feed us? Who will work? If my brother dies, my mom will die, because she can't live without her son. And it happened at the same time.
So, again, I just can't overstate how shocking it is to hear what Rwanda was like the day before.
The day before, yeah. We saw it coming for sure. You just couldn't believe this can happen.
Yes.
Like among normal people who we laugh with, we eat with.
So what was the first sign that things were falling apart? So your brother wakes you up and says, the president has just been killed.
Yes.
What happened next?
So I went outside and I met my parents. I still remember my dad had on a towel over his shoulders. I think he was going to shower, and then he heard the news. So he came outside, had on a towel, and he's putting on the radio, changing channels. And on the radio, like 10 minutes after the president died, exactly everything they had planned. Because they had a list of Tutsis, where they were, addresses. And when you heard that, you just couldn't believe it can happen in real life. And what we heard on radio, the government was, the newspaper people were saying that, they said, everyone stay home, nobody moves, we are hunting people who just killed our president. And we know who killed them, the Tutsi people. I'm like, how can everybody kill the president? The whole tribe. So they started killing people literally family by family. I still remember 2 hours after we heard the news, BBC reported 18 families that were killed. And they would say things like, mom and dad and 8 children have just been killed, or suspecting them to kill the president. 8 children, why children? And mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, 5 children have just been killed, 18 families. And I still remember that's when my dad stopped and I really got scared. I realized what was happening. My father said, this never happened before, where they killed the whole family. That is the reason why they call it a genocide. It was an attempt to eliminate a whole group of people. So they have started like 10 minutes after the president was killed.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was all organized, yeah.
So you hear on BBC that families, whole Tutsi families, are being murdered.
Being murdered, yes.
Was that near you?
No, it was somewhere we heard people from the city. I knew one family member who was from the capital. They mentioned his name, and they have killed his whole family. So it's people I knew, but they were numbering families, family by family. And before that, every Rwandan, this is how it was before the genocide, everyone had what they call identity card, which was like a driver license that had like tribal. So everywhere they had to write if you are a tribe, and every building you went to, you have to show who you are first before they can let you in, which was really to kind of look at you bad, because we look alike from outside.
Yes.
But it was something that was always there. I remember in a school, every week we had to stand up, Tutsi stand up, Hutu stand up, in the same school. I'm like, we did this last week. Why do we have to do this again? So it was a propaganda that was there.
So they were dividing you by tribe?
By tribe. And they had to remind the people who is who, because again, we look alike. So every week they say, Tutsi stand up, and we stand like 5, 6 people, look down, and like 30 other students will like look at us like, yo, you know, the Tutsis. So we knew we were not liked, but not to a level of killing. We knew there was a policy against people for a tribe, very clear, but we just didn't know what can you do. And many Tutsis have run away. And before that, if you studied and you became a doctor, they killed you because they didn't want anyone to challenge their politics, I guess.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So what happened next? You know that the killing has started. Do your parents understand it's a threat to your family then?
Yes. People knew that it was a threat to all the Tutsis really in the country. And again, they told people to stay home, which was very scary to stay home. It was where they were finding people. So after a few hours, we started to see people coming home, asking my parents what to do. And I truly, now I can look back and say, I'm so blessed to have had parents I had, because they really cared so much about everybody. And I saw the impact of how they behaved towards people when the genocide started. So my dad was not the oldest person in the village, but everyone started to come to him. Because it looks like what they said was people are throwing grenades on their home, the Tutsi families. So they came to my dad to ask him what to do. I mean, by the second day, we had about 10,000 people from the door of my parents up to the soccer field where my mom was a teacher, to the school there, everywhere. I still remember my father taking the lead and telling them, like, do not be scared, stay together, God is with us. And my mom, like, let the people who are younger go to talk to them, because she was scared for him. And so we had so many people. And that is on the second day when we separated. So we had a group of like the Hutu extremists, militia, who really were sent by the government at that time, and they would come and throw grenades. So people would go, many people together. And I remember my father, the last moment I remember him, this is when we separated the second day. He had a rosary in his hand, and he was speaking to people from different religion, but who were Tutsis. And the Hutus who were looking at us in the neighborhood. He said, if there's a matter of a small group that is trying to harm us, do not be scared. Fear is our worst enemy. Be strong and be together. So we will defeat them. And then he said, however, I cannot lie to you. If it is a government that planned this, because they knew the threat. We had thousands of Tutsi refugees who have run away from the country because they were threatened before. They were in Uganda, they were in Congo, they were in different places. And then he said, if this, however the government, I cannot lie to you. They have the police, they have the military, they block the borders, they're going to kill us. And I remember thinking, Dad, you just don't tell people they're going to die. My dad was always like, has his thought in order always, so I can't trust him, but you can't just say that. And then he said, even if it was a government, let's not be scared. Fear, again, is our worst enemy. Let's take this as a chance God is giving us to repent our sins so we can go to heaven. How many people who know they're going to die? And again, I'm scared that people are going to shout, oh my, we're dying. And then actually everybody listened to him. People started to hug each other, reconciling with one another. And then after that, that's when he came and gave me the rosary. And he said, I want you to go to hide to a neighbor who was from the other tribe, Hutu tribe, but who was a good man. And I really have to insist on that. Not everyone was bad in the Hutu tribe.
Yes.
It was a government using the name, we, almost like to gather energy, to gather strength and power. Otherwise, not everyone was. So he sent me to the neighbor who was from the other tribe, and I didn't want to leave.
And he handed you his rosary?
He handed me the rosary. He said, take this and go. Go to this man. And my brother was there, my brother who have just finished his master's degree. He used to tell me, I'm about to start my life. I have studied all the time. Now I have done good. He had been just recruited to be a professor in a seminary. So he came there, he told my dad, he said, Dad, you're sending her to a Hutu from the other tribe. And my dad said, yeah. He said, but if things go bad, they might kill her there. And my father said, even if things go bad, that man, I know him, he will not be able to kill. And that is really one thing my father used to tell us. He said, do not judge people and put them in boxes. If you do, you will miss out many angels in your life. You don't know who God is going to send you.
Yes, that's right.
When you need it most. So always make judgment from individuals, how they present themselves to you. So that was real time. I know how much my dad loved
You
me.
don't know who God is sending to you.
Will send you when you need it most. If you have judged the people, you're going to see them all bad. So he always told us, and we thought, that was teaching, as he was always. But when he sent me to a man who was supposed to be our enemies, according to the outside world, that the time I know he really knew that I needed protection, that's when I said, he really meant it. Everything he was teaching us, now it was coming back to my mind like, that is so true. So I went not because I wanted to leave, but I left out of obedience to my father. I remember thinking, I would not want to hurt his feelings. I know how much he gives to us and he cares. I would go. Even if I die, I would go where he sent me. So I left. I still remember so much where my mom was standing. It was not an easy time to say bye. In my heart, actually, I remember feeling, this is it. We may never see each other again. We live among people we love and they love us. And yet, we're about to separate forever. But another part of me was like, no, you're going to see each other. There's no way this can be. Another part is like, take a good picture. This is the last time.
Was it?
It was. Yeah. I literally remember standing and watching where everybody was. I still remember the angle my dad was standing, my mom and my brothers. And I felt like, yeah, this is it. But I still didn't accept fully. So I went to the neighbor with only a possession I had. I mean, I was a student in the college. Anytime I think about this, I'm like, I could have grabbed my purse, something. But all I took was the rosary. And I went to the neighbor. And I told him, it was a little bit farther. It was like 40 minutes walk. So I was walking through the forest, because I actually, on the way, I met people who were like maybe a group of 200 men. And then when they saw me, they all came with spears towards me, like this. And there's a man who was also from the Hutu tribe, who was a friend of my dad. I mean, all of them were real friends of my father. But the one man came in front and put like a whole long spear in front of them. He said, don't touch her. She's not an enemy. She's a daughter of my friend. And they all went back. They put their long spears down. So after that, I was working, and I'm like, in the forest. I'm like, what is going on? This is the same people. This is my village. How can people become this bad? I mean, I was not even allowed to say a bad word. And now you see people wanting to kill another person? And what is going on here? So I walked and I reached the man where I was. He was actually a Protestant pastor. And I told him when my parents told me to come there. Yeah, I remember my father said...
So you were Catholic Tutsis, he was
Yes.
a Protestant Hutu.
Yes, a Protestant Hutu pastor, yeah. So I went to him, and when I saw his face, that's when I saw things were bad. My parents were always trying to be strong, like, no, do not exaggerate, don't make things look so bad, just do your part, take care of your chores home, be nice to the neighbors, feed people, who are hungry, that's all. But when I reached this man, I looked in his eyes, that I still remember that's when I realized it's bad. So I told him, my parents asked me to come here. He goes like, I'm scared they're going to kill you, as they did in 1959. So this was going to be a third war against Tutsis. Because the first one was 1959, and the other one was 1973. So anytime they had the change of government, they killed Tutsis. So he said, I'm scared it's going to be that bad. I'm like, was it bad? You know, because I was born in 1970. So I didn't know. And again, my parents never wanted to remind us how we're hated. You know, they just wanted you to live your childhood and have a life, you know. You're born in that time. So anyway, he put me inside the house. He pulled me. He goes, go inside. I went inside. And I still remember in Rwanda, we shake hands. People really polite, I think, naturally in Rwanda, yeah. So I got to shake hands with people I saw in his living room, and one of them was my teacher. A teacher who actually was not nice. One time I remember he sent me out when I was 12 years old, out of school, because I didn't know my tribe. So I didn't know my tribe. My parents again never wanted to speak about these things. So he said, Tutsi, stand up. I stood up. Hutu, stand up. I saw one of my friends was Hutu. I stood up. He's like, you go out until you know who you are. I'm like, okay. So I went out for the whole afternoon. I was crying. He didn't keep bringing me in. So I made him again by this man, the pastor. I got to shake his hands. He refused to give a hand to me. And a teacher is somebody we respected, we loved, you respected like a father. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And the pastor came and gave me a hand, like trying to save me from him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these things have gone really bad. Like, this is my teacher who shows me the way. Now he's like the one looking at me this bad. So I went inside his house, and in the next morning, that's when he came to take me from where he was, 3 a.m, to put him in a tiny bathroom. He said, you stay here until the troubles goes away. So I went 3 a.m, so I went in this bathroom and I started to complain like, but where do I sit? Where do I sleep? It's 3 by 4 feet. Where is the table? Where is the bed? So as I'm complaining, he came back with 5 more women. And I didn't know they were in the house. They were in different corners of the house who have come to hide there, Tutsis. A few weeks later, he brought 2 more women.
A few weeks later?
Yeah, 2 more. So we were 8 Tutsis women in 3 by 4 feet. And the youngest was 7 years old, and the older was 55, and I was 23, and others were teenagers. Yeah.
How long were you there?
3 months. I wished I knew how long it was going to be. We stayed in that bathroom 3 months.
That's unbelievable. Did you know what was going on outside?
So after the first day, the first week actually, I had so many bad emotions. I never knew that a human being can have this many emotions, and levels of emotions. I was impatient because he told us not to speak to one another, not to make any noise, not even to flush the water of the bathroom until somebody else is flushing the water in the next bathroom. So we stayed there just like that. We don't know what is going on. Until a week later, I felt I was going to die anyway. I need to lay down. We were sitting on top of each other. This is worse than death. And the worst thing was, why? Why? I'm innocent. Why can somebody want to kill me for something I didn't even choose to be? So at the end of the week, I asked him to put a radio outside of the house, the bathroom, which he had told us not to talk because he told his children he lost the key of that bathroom. So I grabbed his food when he brought us food, which he did every day or every 2 days. He would bring 1 plate, the leftovers of his children. And he would put it there and we would share it, or we were very hungry. I never felt hungry in my life because we just didn't have enough. So at the end of the week, something came to me. I still remember I had the rosary, I'm praying, but I couldn't pray. You know, when you're too anxious and you haven't decided, I need to pray, this is bad, and you're waiting for somebody else to answer your questions and maybe to make things better, you can't even pray. So the first time I was, our Father, I can't believe this is happening. I was angry, I was impatient, so many emotions. But at the end of the week, he brought the food, and I asked him if he can put a radio outside so we can hear what is going on. So he was like, shh, don't talk. But he was kind. He put 3 different radios, different channels. I couldn't believe what was going on in the country. Now the leaders who were behind the private radios, they were out in open on national TV, national radio, calling everyone to kill every one of my tribe. I remember one government minister who was actually a father of one of my girlfriends from high school. He went on radio and he said, don't forget children. a child of a cockroach is a cockroach. A child of a snake is a snake. It's a cleansing. Don't forget elder people. We just want to have one tribe. I'm like, okay, so it's not a mistake. It's not even like a small group of criminals. This is the government actually giving order to kill us. And that was a turning point for me. Instead of now like waiting, maybe they will do something, I realized that it is really the government now had given order, which they have all the power. That's when I started to pray. That's when I turned to God from inside. That's when I turned to listen to that voice from inside, to trust my instinct, to trust that voice within, to judge the wrong and right, not waiting for another person to tell me what is right, what is wrong, what I should do. Yeah.
Did you have any idea what had happened to your parents and three brothers?
I suspected because every day on radio, they were reporting how many people were killed. And the radio, the national radio, were saying that, oh, we have just killed everyone. We'll never have to see another Tutsi again.
They were bragging about killing people?
Yes. Or they were giving prizes to people who killed more people. And first, people ran to churches because they thought in the past, if you run to a church, people were not there to come to touch you in the church. But this time, they let people run in the churches, and then after they went to destroy the churches and burn churches. Like in my church, in a place called Kibeho, they killed 5,000 in one small church because there were so many like standing like that. So they made holes around the church, put guards, and put fire and burn everyone. So they were chasing people to go to stadiums. Yeah, one of my brother died in a stadium of thousands of people because they were running them there. Go to the stadium. We'll protect you. And then they went around the stadium and threw hundreds of grenades inside and killed everyone. So we suspected what was going on. And now worse for us, they started to search homes every day, home by home. So they made a group of men they were giving drinks, smokes to go home by home searching. And again, not everybody was killing, not every Hutu, but it was the government was one voice. We are killing them, we will kill them. So they didn't trust that their own people, the Hutus, would actually not hide people. And they were right, because every day they found people who were hiding in the Hutu homes. But this was the time where the bad guy was looking up and the good guy have to hide and pretend like I'm not doing good. So it was like things have flipped in a country again where goodness was praised. So we saw things going downhill and then the country was being destroyed. So we suspected what was going on because they were giving prizes who killed more people, and they were searching for us, and they came to our home.
They came to your home?
Yeah, they came. It was, I love that the church teaches about suffering is terrible, but it really, if you deal with it maturely, I would guess,
yes,
you learn a lot from suffering. And that was, I think, what happened to me. So the time when they came to search, I remember I was stretching and I saw them through the tiny window of the bathroom. And I didn't know they were coming, so they came very quiet. So they were dressed or banana leaves, they had all kind of arms, grenades, they had guns, long spears. They came quiet and they started to scream. And this is the first time they did, which they did 8 times.
They started to scream?
Yeah, they started to scream when they got in the courtyard of the house, because they would come quiet so that no one will run away from the house. So then when they came inside quiet and they would scream so that people can run out. So that's what they did. But I saw them when they were coming in through the tiny window of the bathroom. And I saw that and I fell over the ladies and they started to scream and I knew my life was over. I never felt pain in my life as I did that time. So in that moment, I truly thought, this is maybe 1,000 people. That's what I thought. There's no way they're going to miss out the door of the bathroom we're in. This was a 4-bedroom house. It's not like a big house. So my life was over. I remember thinking, how am I going to die? How does it happen? And the worst thing was, again, why? Why?
Yeah.
Why would another human being want to put another person to suffer? What do they get out of this? Why would another person? How can I convince them I'm innocent? How can I convince them that actually I love them? But they won't hear. They have decided I'm bad. They have just decided I'm an enemy. They have to eliminate. And do they know the pain I'm going through? In that moment, especially when they came to search, I remember feeling like 8,000 needles are going through my body. Like I'm in fire, burning, but I'm not dying fully. And I wish to die and to end with this torture. And then somehow, as they were inside searching, I truly thought, how is my soul going to come out? Am I going to see Jesus? Am I going to see Mary? You know, as I hear in my church, am I going to meet my parents? Is any one of them died or not? So in that moment, in that agony, I remember feeling I had two voices over my shoulders. And I felt like nothing strange, like the things we go through when we're facing a challenge. Do it, don't do it, you know.
Yes.
This is good, this is bad. So I felt so clearly in my heart was, open the door, end the torture. It's too painful. And I thought, you're right. Because I felt like me being reasonable. I should open the door. Otherwise, I can't go through this pain again.
Yes.
But another voice in me was always there in every situation. Another voice was much nicer, much calm. In my heart was, do not open the door. Ask God to help you. Remember who God is? God is Almighty. Do you know what Almighty means? It means He can do anything. Do you know what anything means? It means even if they shoot you, the bullet might not go through you, if God wants. Even if they cut you, the machete might not go through you. Even if they open the door, they might not be able to see anybody. It was really good to have trust in God to some level, because that's why I was confused too, what is going on, where is God? But to know that God can do all things, it was the best thing. But in the moment I heard that, when I felt like open the door, I felt like I'm dead, like my whole body will be frozen. But when I felt that hopeful voice, do not open the door, ask God to help you, there is still a chance. That's when I felt like life in my body. So in that moment, I really didn't even know if God existed anymore. Even if He does, is He in heaven? Is it too late to ask Him to help? Or should I ask Him? And I always feel like sometimes we have an image we made of God. I feel like it's like an old man who lives behind the sky, you know, who can't spank you, you know, and then go back when you do wrong. But this time, I remembered what I have heard, I have read in the Bible. He's God who is in your heart, who can hear everything, who is Almighty. And I remember asking God with every cell of my body, like I never did in my life. I just wanted to be sure for sure, are you there? As I have heard it in my church, are you there? And I remember asking God, if you can hear me, don't let the killers open the door today. Just today. In the end, everyone will die. But just today, if they don't open it, I will seek you all my life. I will know you exist for sure as I have read you. I beg you, just give me a sign. If there's anyone who put together this, the moon, the stars, who make my breath, you know, my heart beat, I beg you, just give me a sign. Are you there? Can you hear me in this bathroom? Because I couldn't even talk. After I asked that, I fainted. I truly fainted. I didn't hear nothing until about 5 hours later. I'm not looking at the girls. We are just like everyone is in their own hearts. And the man, the pastor, when he came and opened the door, I jumped. I thought they found us. It felt like 5 minutes, but it was from 11 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then when he saw us jump, he said, "Oh, you are still like this?" I said, "Yeah, where are they?" He said, "They left a long time ago." So that's when we started to breathe, like the first breath we took from 11 to 5. And then he told us what happened. And he came when it was raining. That's when he was able to come. That's why he came in, so no one can hear him inside. So he told us what happened. He said there were 300 to 400 people from my village.
300 to 400?
Yes, from my village, people I went to school with. He actually told me, and I heard this man, he said he have killed 399 cockroaches, as they called us, and he wanted Makira to be the 400. A man I knew who was a friend. He didn't hate me. I didn't do anything to him. Never had a problem. It's just because they told him, we are bad, then go kill them. So he said there were 300 to 400 people. They came inside the house. A big number went around the house to make sure no one jumps out of the window. Another number went in every room, under the beds, in the closets. They went in the ceiling of the house with flashlights to make sure no one was there. He said they even opened suitcases to make sure there was no babies hiding. And he said, at last, they came right to the door of the bathroom. One of them touched the handle. And before he pulled, he looked at the man, he said, you know what? I trust you. You are one of us. You can't hide these bad people. And he turned around and they left. And they told him, we'll come back. So when the man told us that, this pastor, I remember he said, I don't know how you are praying, but whatever you are doing, keep doing it. I don't understand why they stopped at the door where you are when they even opened suitcases. That was the first time in my life I can say I truly believed in God 100%. I remember saying, God, I don't care if the Pope fall away from you, if a bishop fall away from you, if a priest falls, I will seek you all my life. It's not about them, it's about you. If somebody's leading me to you, and on the way they get discouraged, that's their problem. I would seek you. And it was a new day. It was a new day. It was a new day of freedom, to feel like I'm not alone. I can talk to my God from inside. He's with me. My whole world became so much bigger. It wasn't anymore like, oh, poor me, look how bad it is. So it was me and God. So I asked the man, the pastor, to give me the Bible, and I started to read, like questioning to God, like I'm talking to you now. And I would go like, okay, wait, okay, let's start all over again. Why did you create me? Because I know you are here. I know you can hear me. Why in the beginning did you even create me if you knew such a mess can happen in the world? And I felt like God was speaking back in some ways. I made you because I love you. I wanted to love you and share with you all I have. Just like parents have children. I mean, we know what is going on in the world, but why do we still have children? Because we want to love them. And we believe love is so much stronger than any hate can ever be there, any problem. I want to give my children everything I have. I work hard so that my kids can be secure. I felt like the same God was like, I have so much for you. And if only you can listen to me and go according to my will, I promise you will be fine, no matter how the world can be bad. Just seek to respect me and to live according to my guide. So I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, so how long do we stay here? Like, I know we would die, but how long? I mean, the things we all know. I felt like God was speaking back. Well, maybe 100 years. Okay, what about after that? Where do we go? Well, after that, there's a choice of heaven, there's a choice of hell. It's up to you what you choose to work for. And I remember thinking like, oh, I'm in hell already. I don't want to look at hell. I just wanted to read more about what is heaven. And I really, just as simple as that, doing my research in that bathroom, starting to read about heaven and realizing in Revelation, in the Bible, like, let me see what heaven is about. Because it's hard to work for a price if you don't know what the price is about. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the roads are diamond and gold. Wow, this is really nice. Who doesn't want to go there? And everything is blessed forever and ever. It's good. I'm like, this is really good. And I want to work for that. And then I remember thinking, okay, now I need to know how do you get there, to work in a way that you can go to that nice place. And I went through the Bible again, thinking that God is guiding me. Like, yep, I have directions. There's God's commandment and directions. Oh, I remember something especially that really was troubling for me. I feel like every page I opened in the Bible was telling me to forgive. I'm like, no. You can't forgive people who are killing children. Do you know how bad they are? And I would cross the page, and I would go to another page. Love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. I'm like, how? No, close that page. I would go to another one. Forgive how many times? 770 times. God, you're making it really hard. Do you know what these people are doing? Like, do you know they have, I would just justify myself. And I felt like God was, whenever I was justifying myself, God was like, okay. I'm talking to him. And after I realized that one of the things the Bible was saying is like, pray unceasingly. If you believe in God, knowing now how the plan is of your life, you came here because I love you, I made you, and maybe life would be between now and 100 years, and now after that there's eternity, what do? You start praying. And I remember also another thing that helped me a lot, to look at life on earth and the length of time in heaven. Heaven is so much longer. It's eternity. And then compared to the life on earth, this really becomes like a little dot on the map, like a blink in a lifetime if you compare to eternity. And this is so much better. And I remember thinking, I want to go here, and whatever it takes. And I remember thinking about athletes, how they work so hard, they're sweating, maybe to win a medal, or maybe to win a game, and they bleed, they break their bones, and they rub them. I'm like, they accept to suffer because of a worldly gain. So if I suffer here, as long as I gain eternity, a paradise, I am much better, I'm smarter to work for that much bigger than working for, a win in this worldly way. So I really would like to work for this thing. But the challenge was forgiveness for me. Everything else I thought, I can do that. I can do that, I can live that way. But forgiveness, how do you forgive somebody who's trying to kill your mom? Your father, who is looking for you? I'm still here in the bathroom. We were sitting like this for weeks now. But that way, everything started to change when I saw what was life about, really the whole picture. And then I decided to start to pray. Because at least I can pray. That's what the Bible says, pray unceasingly. So I started to pray, knowing that I'm talking to a God who can hear me. That was really different. It wasn't the same thing like, oh, Father who art in heaven, I didn't even hear. No, I was praying now, knowing my Father is listening to me. And He's my only friend I have in my heart. So I took the rosary my Father have given me, and really the rosary, some people think like, oh, you're just praying the beads, but it's just every bead represents a prayer. It's like organized prayer. So say one prayer here, say another one here. And it's all the Bible. It's really like the summary of the Bible. You think about the events of the life of Christ and His mother through the joy, through the sorrow, and through the glory, resurrection. And you go through that. So I started to pray this rosary. One takes about 25 minutes, which to say 3 of them, like, joyful, sorrowful, glorious, it takes like an hour. When I prayed for 1 hour, it was the first time in my life I felt peace in that bathroom. I'm like, wait. I can feel peace. My blood is not running in every direction. I'm not scared. For the first time, my mind went to God, and I'm meditating, remaining there. I'm like, this is good. And I started to pray all day, from morning until night. It was only time I can feel peace. Every mystery of the rosary, I would go to the Bible, when Jesus was born, what happened, who was there, and my mind was gone there, my mind. So this was really good. That's when I found peace. But during that time, I started to get used to prayer, and it felt so good. Even they were searching for us again, and then we stopped always outside. Then I'm like, I got used to that, and my anger started to come behind my prayers. I'll be saying, Hail Mary, full of grace, and then they will kill you, they will rape you, that bad voice, and I'm going to kill them too. Or I had plans in my head. I thought if I come out, I was going to be a soldier, just to revenge my family, if I get to come out. But now I'm praying, and it's bringing me back to, to love people, but I don't want. But so after I got used to prayer, and the routine kicked in, and then the bad voices beneath my voice will kill you, to cause me fear. The worst emotions were fear, impatience, and anger. Anger would burn me, like literally burning, like I'll be sweating out of anger. Just because I'm thinking about what I can do if I come out, I will blow up the whole country. I will throw grenades all over and bombs. And my heart will be racing. And the worst thing about anger, it becomes obsessive. You think and you think you are done. Then you come back. And then I'll do this. And then I will do that. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of my own anger. But during the time now I'm praying, and the anger is coming back through my prayers, under my prayers. I know I don't mean the words. I remember thinking, what am I going to do now? Even when I pray, the bad voice is there. And I remember asking God, because I truly felt He was there, what do I do now? And something said, mean every word you say. If you do, so you're praying with your heart, the bad voice will not torture you. I literally remember thinking, okay, let me try that. And I will just share with you how really I came to change when I started to mean the words I was saying, be sincere. And I think people pray and they can call themselves Christians, which I was and I do maybe sometimes, but praying with sincerity is what changes everything. Because you really have to be aware that God is there. He can hear you. It's not just air, it's a person from inside and out, who want us to be sincere. And every promises Christ have given us, it comes true when we do our part. We are sincere with him. That's where I found. So I remember starting just...
Be sincere when you pray.
Yes, sincere, knowing that you are speaking to a God who can hear you. And that what makes every difference. So I started to pray, just by doing the sign of the cross in the name of the Father. And I'm like, I'm talking in the name of the Father, the creator of all things. Wow, like I never thought about that way. And the Son, the Savior, the one who saved me, who died for me, and the Holy Spirit, the power of God. And the sign of the cross became huge alone. I'm like, wow, this is really big. And I want to share what changed, especially around Our Lord's Prayer, which is a part of the Rosary, which I said, all day I said maybe 200 Our Lord's Prayer. So I remember now starting like mean it. Mean what you say and make sure you can hear yourself so that you're talking like I'm talking to you. I have to be present, otherwise I will not even know what I'm talking about. So be present when you say, when you pray to God, know that he's there, and be sincere with what you say. Mean it, don't lie. So I remember starting, okay, let me start, because the body voice was just beneath my prayers. Our Father who, I'm like, wait, did I just say our Father? If I mean that, it will mean the Father of everybody. And he cannot be the father of the killers. No, he's only the father of the good guys. And I was stuck right there because I can't mean those words alone. Then I'm like, okay, but I have to mean it. Then I started to ask God, what do you mean? How can I say this? Our Father. And I felt now God started to explain to me. And that's really what I found. When you start praying sincerely, the answers start come. It's like heaven comes to your aid. If you're lying, you're distancing yourself from God. But if you're saying you're truly seeking honestly, that's when he starts to speak back to you. So I felt like he was speaking back to me. And he goes, okay, so think about this. Your father have 3 boys, and you. My dad had 4 children, one girl, 3 boys. If one of your brother does wrong, does your dad stop being their father? No. Actually, my dad, whom I knew well, he will lose more time thinking about the bad one.
Yes, that's right.
More than the good. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see that. The same thing with me, with the Father. My children are risking to end up in hell fully, but I love them and I'm losing them, and I'm still their father. I'm like, okay, I get it. I wasn't trying to argue with God. I just wanted to understand this time. Okay, our Father of the good and the bad, who art in heaven. And then I kept thinking now, praying, because I get it. He's a father of the good and the bad, the same way my dad is the father of my brothers when they're wrong or right or wrong. Even if he might punish the wrong one, but still he's still their father. So I started to say the prayer, meaning it, but just remembering he's the father of the good and the bad. And I kept praying until I reached to this part now. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
The toughest line in the New Testament.
It
That's
is
right.
so hard. It was so hard. I'm like, no, you're not asking me to say that, to mean that, because I can't forgive them. But I feel like God is completely natural. It's up to you how to mean it, or you ask for strength to understand and help. So I thought, there's no way I can mean this, but because I need my God on my side, I don't want to lie to him. What happens when you lie to friends? You risk to lose them. And imagine to lie to somebody who can look in the heart. So I'm like, I can't say forgive me as I forgive, because I'm lying. There's no way I can forgive them. So another side was, if I try to mean that part, it would mean, don't forgive me. Do to me as I do to others. So I was stuck. I'm like, what am I going to do? The sweet voice inside started to help me again. Well, if you don't mean it, you're not ready, don't say it. So I started to skip that part of the prayer because I truly wanted to be sincere to God. And I wanted to see what happened when I do my part. Because to that moment, God have not disappointed me. And to this day, have not disappointed me from what he said. But it's a relationship of 2 ways. I do my part, he is going to fulfill his promise. But I have a say into this equation. He's not just God, I'm here too. It's a relationship. So I skipped that part, and you know what? I feel so much better. I thought, okay, finally, I'm not lying to my God. He's in my corner, so we are good. So, and I felt so much better to a certain level. Until one day, I'm used to that. I'm praying from morning until night because that was the only time I can have peace. One time I remember I was about to skip that part. I felt as if somebody was touching me here. Like, hey, I hope you know, maybe you're ready for this next step. I hope you know our Lord's Prayer is not man-made. It's Jesus himself who gave those words. If I were you, I wouldn't try to edit his prayer. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do now? It was so, this voice from inside and God had become so my only friend, the only thing I had. And it had become so real that I knew if I go against that wave of truth inside, I'm not going to be at peace either. So I need to be able to go with him to be able to claim again his promises. That for those who believe, all things are possible. For if you ask, it shall be given. But I need to do that when I also do my part. So I couldn't change that prayer. And I remember I put back the prayer now because I just wanted to do the will of God. But what changed was I put it back, but I told him I still don't know how to forgive. So I'm going to put it back as he said, but I'm asking you, dear God, help me. Help me to change my heart. I'm going to do out of obedience to you to say these words, but I still don't know how to forgive. And that was such a good prayer. To be able now, not that, oh, I'm faking, I forgive them, but help me out. It was that moment I felt something in my heart was telling me, if you can trust me to protect you in this bathroom, why can't you ask me to change your heart? To be a loving person, to forgive these people. You know unforgiveness is against my law. So ask me to change your heart to that. At least that is a better place than saying, I don't want, they're evil, they're bad. Ask me to help you. If you know it is good, ask me to help you to reach that good. So I put back the prayer. Anytime I reach that part, I will still remind Jesus. I still don't know how, but I'm doing this out of obedience, so I'm not lying to you. And it was so much humbling place to be. And I kept praying that way. Never thought I would ever change until one day. So all this time, I was praying 27 rosaries a day. It took me from 6 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. Otherwise, I felt I was going crazy. I was going to just open the door. And the thoughts, the anger, the fear, trembling, my stomach trembling, it was so bad. And during that time of prayer, I also noticed something. So the ladies were together. We never talked once for all these months. Never talked.
For 3 months, you never talked?
Never talked. We just look at each other. We feed each other. When somebody does like this, you're like, what is she here? So we felt like we were one person, but we were sucking on each other's energy. So if there was somebody running, we thought one would go like this, everyone would be scared. And then after time, like, oh, there's nothing. It was just feeling there's something. But when I started to pray, I noticed something. I was so leaning on Jesus. Like he was the one I was dealing with. I decided to be the strength in that bathroom. Not that I knew anything, not that I had any strength, but the one I was talking to. And I couldn't tell the ladies. All they saw was that I was constantly saying the rosary. So whenever they got scared and they looked at me, I was the one who was like, we're good. But I didn't know we're good. But I didn't want them to be scared. And I didn't want to be so scared. And they thought I knew something. But they knew something. It was God I was talking to. So I became that pillar inside where I'm like, Jesus, please protect us. So anyway, one day I remember I was meditating on a part of the rosary, which is when Jesus is dying. Now it's about the sorrows, which by the way was, my God, was so good to think about through the rosary, to think about his sorrows, his joy, his glory, but especially his sorrows, because I feel like I was where he was, and then I was able to compare my life with him. And I can see he was God, and I'm not. But yeah, I'm a sinner, but he's God. So he went through that, and I really drew a lot of strength. So one day I remember meditating on the cross when our Lord is dying, and I started to think about what happened. I'm like, wait, forget about the crosses you see in the church. There's no blood, he's just there. Let me think about the reality of what happened. Went through the Bible, I'm like, oh my, he didn't eat all day. Let me think of him as my brother on this mystery when he's on the cross. He didn't eat all day. They beat him so bad. He had wounds all over. Now he's hanging on the cross. And to make it worse, his mother is right there watching him. So the more I watched them, I'm like, oh, this is really bad. What are you going through? I was there. Oh, I felt I was on the cross, and I felt like his blood was falling over me, and I will wrap them all over my body so that I can be protected under his blood. And then I'm watching there, and I remember kind of say, wait, it feels like this meditation, I feel like as if I'm there. I came out, and I felt like I'm talking to him on the cross. I'm like, wait, okay, I want to understand, why did you take this way? Why did you go through this? Why did you have to go through pain to save us? Why didn't you come like, a pope, dress nice and have bodyguards? Why did you have to go through this lowest of lowest, and yet you are God, you are pure? And again, for some reason, I felt God was speaking back. I felt like he was telling me, because I loved you. And I wanted to show that if you ever go through anything close to this, if you are ever rejected, if you are ever not loved, remember, I was there before you. Learn from me. Did I want to kill anyone? Did I even say one bad word? Learn from me. And as I'm listening to that, I'm like, you're right. He's so good. Not his mother, they're suffering terribly, but no one ever said one word that was not kind. And me, I started to feel ashamed of like, if I come out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, revenge. But look at them. And I'm supposed to follow his example. And I remember watching through his words, his forgiving the thief. And remember, I had to literally say to God, I believe in you. You have not disappointed me. I'm going to believe everything that happened, and to the letter. So I'm reading in the Bible what happened. I believe exactly what happened. And I'm reading forgiving a thief. And he's giving his mother, behold your son, to John and to Mary, his mother. And as I'm watching this, the words that broke my heart open when he said, forgive them, Father. They don't know what they do. All this time, I was struggling. How do I forgive somebody who is so mean, who is so bad, who is killing people, cutting them open in the stomach? It was horrible, the things we were listening to outside. And the only thing that I did not even want to know what had happened to my parents, I didn't want to cry because I was not allowed. If I cried, they would have found me.
When did you find out what happened to your parents?
I found out 3 months later when we came out. The first day we came out, within an hour, that's when I found out. So when now I am on the cross and I'm thinking about, what Jesus said when he said, they don't know, that's really when I was free. That's when I was able to let go of the anger. They don't know what they do. All of a sudden, I felt like he was taking me back. The people are killing you. They don't even measure the consequences when it comes to them. The people are killing you. They don't know the pain they are causing you. Learn from me. Hold on to me. You do your best just now, but don't hate them. It doesn't change anything. Pray for them. Because if you believe, which I do, I believe they're all God's children. I mean, what will you do if you see somebody's son doing bad and you are a friend to that person? You're not going to say, like, kill that son. You're going to say, oh, somebody help that son, correct him for the sake of your friend. And that's where I realized that I needed to pray for the killers, not for the sake of how much I love them, but for the sake of my father, who is losing his children. That really changed everything. All of a sudden, I felt like a huge luggage was lifted from my shoulders. And what I realized in that moment was so much bigger than even forgiving the killers. All of a sudden, clarity was back to me, and I realized, like, wait, I was hating all the Hutus, but not every Hutu is doing wrong. But when the anger came, it was them, the Hutus. Look what they're doing to us. They're killing us. And rightly so, the government was like, Hutus, go out and kill everyone. But that was not the truth. The man who was hiding me was a Hutu. And during the genocide, he actually told his 2 children, 2 of them he really trusted, that he's hiding these people. He couldn't come to the bathroom to feed us. He would send his daughter after time. So all these good people, I realized that, wait, I was putting all of them in the same, dumping them together. And then all of a sudden I realized I was even hating children who are not born yet for the sake of judging the whole group of people. I have become a victim too of their hatred. When did they succeed to put me on their side, to hate all the Hutus? They become like them. It was really a moment of light, and all of a sudden I realized that my world was shrinking. I would never talk to a Hutu. I would never do this. I would never talk to this. All of a sudden, like, no. I will look in the face, I will say who is bad, and if somebody does wrong to me, then I will take my distance. But not every Hutu is bad. So it was completely new. I regretted, I felt so bad for the hatred I was building inside, but it was true freedom. I still remember feeling my body was lifting almost from the ground, because now I love God so much. And no one can really do so much evil that they would ever pull me to their side and want to do the same as they did. And then I realized that, wait, they do what I hate and yet I have become like them. What was that? So I really realized also what it is that if we don't pray sincerely, there is a blindness that comes to our mind. And then we act blindly, and suddenly when we do wrong things, they have consequences. We do things that are going to be bad, of course, but they have consequences. In Rwanda, we were warned actually by something really beautiful. I mean, if you heard maybe about a place called Lourdes in France and Fatima in Portugal.
Yes.
Our Lady of Guadalupe, Mexico City. So Mary, who, the Mother of Jesus, she have come in very few places so far approved by the Vatican after a lot of investigation. She have come as an envoy, as a messenger of God to appear to places where miracles happen. She appeared in a place called Kibeho in Rwanda 12 years before the genocide. And she have told us in tears to these high school kids, you know, who were from this school. And this was a huge event because whenever she came, people came, there thousands of people, doctors were hired by the church to come to see if it is real, it's not real. And they realized that when the kids will speak to her, they will put needles in their body, they won't feel anything. And she had a message as a mother of mankind, not as a Catholic. She didn't even speak as Christian. She came as a mother of Jesus Christ, sent to give us a message as our mother. She said, if you do not come back to God, if you don't come to love one another, to forgive one another, to be one person and practice the commandment of God, a terrible thing is going to happen to you. And she showed the children, people being killed by others, holes of dead bodies, a river of blood. And she was crying. And she said, if you don't come back to God, this is going to happen to you. And she then mentioned one time tribes. She said hatred, people who have hatred in the heart. But she also promised, if we pray, she said, make prayer groups and pray from the heart to God and pray for the country. If you do, what is coming will not happen. So that place today is being, built up, and people go to pray. Muslim, Catholic, Protestant, they go to pray in that place in Kibeho because the Vatican, after having all the proofs, they have approved that it was a supernatural place. And one of the reasons I wrote a book about this, Our Lady of Kibeho, and why I even mentioned this is because Our Lady said, if I'm speaking to you, it does not mean that my message only concerns Rwanda, not even just Africa, but the whole world. Gather together, pray people, pray for the people, pray sincerely for your country, pray for the world, and we will conquer. But if you don't, this is coming. And in Rwanda, everybody today who knew what she was saying, we wish we had listened.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that you've said that Americans can relate to. I just have to ask you one last question because it's a beautiful story, by the way. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I'll be thinking about it for a long time.
Thank you.
But you're describing genocide with spiritual components.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think happened to the killers? It almost seems like they were possessed by some kind of spirit. People you knew, decent people you went to school with, who you liked, wound up trying to murder you and your family. What is that?
So what really happened to me, I mean, I think of it, I can't separate it from thinking about it spiritually, are people who have embraced hatred. And when I think about the people who actually did it, because again, it's not every Hutu who killed,
yes.
When I think about it, are really people who were weak even before in their faith, who were weak in their way of love, people who want to just please themselves, who didn't care so much about other people. And then they gave you an occasion to actually be yourself. And then you do what you had to do. There are many Hutus priests and pastors who died trying to protect other people. And then there's other priests who also killed other priests.
Yes.
Pastors who killed other priests, other pastors. So it's really clear line between love, but with faith too. Because we can say we love, but if we love in our human way, most of the time we love who loves us. We're not thinking of the good of other people. So I love faith, that faith makes people go beyond themselves. And with prayer, you can truly see clearer than if you don't, yeah.
I said that was my last question, but last question really quick.
Okay.
So you described 3 months of intense prayers, 27 rosaries every day,
Every
from 6
day,
to
yeah.
10. People who are, starting to pray often find themselves besieged by distracting thoughts. It's very hard to pray.
Yeah,
it's not easy to pray. And you've devoted so much to. How do you keep the distracting thoughts out of your prayers? How do you keep focused on it?
You really have, I think you have to decide that prayer is meaningful to you and is going to be real. So once you make a decision, even if you start a little, like you have to have the curiosity to really want to know God. And you have to have a will, not just like something extra you do on the side. Because all of us, there are things that we are passionate about, and we have to decide. So I think and I believe that prayer have to be something you say, I'm getting to know my God. And I don't understand why you wouldn't want to know your God, because it's everything we are. We are created by God. And every day we see people dying. And I would really advise everyone to take their faith seriously and to seek God with all of their might.
I would advise people to take their faith seriously and seek God with all their might.
Yes.
Immaculée, amazing conversation. Unbelievable.
Yes, thank you so much.
Blessing for us. Thank you.
And by the way, just want to mention, when we came out, I found out everyone in my family had been killed. And my mom, my dad, my brothers, but truly the faith have continued to help me to this day.
The women that you spent 3 months in the bathroom with, have you seen them since?
Yes, I do. I see them when I go back to Rwanda. 2 of them have, I do take groups actually to visit the country. It is very beautiful. I hope you come to visit us one time. Yes, it's really beautiful. So I do see them. And to this day, one thing I also want to mention is that the people who have killed, some of them are still in the Congo and really have been still, threatening the country, but also fighting and killing people from the country, the Tutsis who are in Congo. Because 1962, after the independence, Rwanda was cut.
Yes.
And there is a big part that remained in Congo of Rwanda, which became Congolese. So today, the Interahamwe, the people who killed, they're still there and they still kill them. And sadly, sometimes they blame Rwanda, like, why are you helping them? Like, they're Rwandans who are there fighting with the Congolese, because they're all Congolese. So we still have many killers who killed, run away from the country, and now Rwanda is really beautiful. We have refugee Tutsis who were outside of the country, who came back, and that's the ones who rescued the country. We're able now to have a country that is growing, and we used to have, I remember, 2 universities in Rwanda. Now we have like 39 universities. Yeah, it's really have grown in every way. So we see the fruits of people who continue to fight hard and who work hard not to have this discrimination. We used to have identity cards that said who you are everywhere you go, Tutsi, Hutu. Now they removed. The new government have removed this tribe, calling people. They want people to judge people from who you are, not to write who you are.
I love that.
Yeah, and I very much love this beautiful country, America. I'm American.
We love that you're here. Thank you.
Pray everything will be good.
Immaculée, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tucker Carlson Today is the name of the show. New episodes 3 days a week on Fox Nation. We'll see you every weeknight on the Fox News Channel.